Hey everyone, in today's video, I'm going to talk about route planning, managing tolls, and the essentials that I'm going to keep in my truck that will hopefully make life on the road a little bit more enjoyable. So whether you're new to RV transport like I am, or maybe you've been doing it for a while, but you're just looking for some different ideas on how to mix it up, make the experience more enjoyable, I think this video is for you. In my last video, I mentioned doing a lot of research about RV logistics, including watching videos, reading blogs, talking to people that are already doing it. And one of the big discussion points that keeps coming up across all of these different mediums is route planning. Now, I haven't delivered my first load yet on it, so I can't speak from experience, but this seems to be a big consideration for everybody that's already out there and doing it. I'll be honest, at first I thought, well, I'll just, open up my GPS, put the destination in maps, and poof, down the road I go. But the more that I learn about it, the more I think I'm going to have to be careful about doing this because it could get you in trouble, I think, with, low overheads or getting on some like backcountry road that would be hard to pull an RV down, etc. Now, I know that there are paid subscription services that are dedicated to logistics GPS, but I don't know if the expense of those is worth it or not. So if you're already out there doing this and you're watching this video, please comment down below. Let me know what app it is that you're using, whether you like it, how much it costs, etc. I could use any help at this point I could get as I get closer to my orientation and doing my very first load for Horizon. Another consideration that I'm learning about is that some of the routes I might be traveling are going to be heavy on tolls, especially heading east. So I want to make sure that I am using the best routes to minimize my cost as much as I can. Talking to a couple people I know that are already driving for Horizon, they told me that the dispatcher will give you a suggested route using something called the PC Miler app. They also told me that that's how your load pay is determined and that it calculates the mileage from zip code to zip code, not doorstep to doorstep, which I don't know if that's going to be a benefit to me just yet or if it's going to be a detriment, but more to come on that as I keep track of my own mileage and then compare that to the PC Miler app mileage. After talking to some people about the routes that they take, tolls I think is going to be something worth seriously thinking through. On one hand, man, they can run up your expenses really quick. On the other hand, though, a lot of times they're going to be more direct routes, guaranteed clearances on, overpasses. They're going to get plowed or cleaned up faster than some of the alternative routes that are maybe available. But again, those come at the cost of increased fees, right? Running from place to place. They did mention, though, that Horizon will reimburse for tolls if they're on that suggested route in the PC Miler app that I told you about. But it's still unclear as to what that reimbursement process looks like. I know I have an Easy Pass that I use for personal use, and the tolls don't show up on that Easy Pass for a couple, 2-3 days. Some other states longer than that. And so I'm not sure how that will work. If they pay out just based on the anticipated tolls, or if you've got to submit receipts. So if that's the case, I mean, it could be days after you've maybe delivered a load before you get that reimbursement. That would mean that, at least for me, I'd have to have several $100s just laying around for these tolls that I could afford to not get back until those receipts come in. I don't know if that's going to be something that I can swing up front or not, but more to come about that. Another big consideration, of course, is going to be DOT regulations. I'm only going to be able to drive so many hours at a time, so I want to make sure that my routes are planned efficiently, making sure that I stay legal and, of course, safe. I think some of these alternative routes that you might get into, could have, low overhead clearance issues. There could be detours that I don't know about. Just might be not a place I want to try and pull, somebody's $50,000, $100,000 camper down, trying to get it to its final destination. So I'll do a separate video on that once I get a couple runs under my belt. I know a little bit more about the ins and outs of taking direct routes and possibly incurring toll charges versus taking some alternative routes and the benefits or the downsides of doing that as well. All right, so let's start talking about what I plan to pack in my truck for those long hauls. because just from my own personal travel, I know that traveling and buying what you need as far as food and things like that can get pretty expensive pretty quick. So I want to make sure that I am totally prepared. And here's the must have list of stuff that I've compiled just so far. And I was talking about tools, so I'm going to absolutely make sure I've got my Easy Pass transponder on me. And then ibuprofen, Tylenol, allergy medication, any supplements that I might take, etc. I want to make sure that I've got those all, packed into a baggie or something in my center console in the truck. Make sure I got easy access to them. Another thing I'm thinking about is maybe like some protein shakes or meal replacement shakes. I've used those in the past. Found that they keep me full. The new stuff tastes pretty good, so that'll be something that I consider as well. I got a blend jet that I can put water, milk, and put powder in or whatever, mix it right there and drink it right out of the cup. So that might be a way to eat and drink clean while I'm on the road without eating a bunch of junk. A case of water, flavor packets, that'll absolutely be in my truck all the time. Prepped or portioned meals, I'm not sure how I'm going to do that just yet, whether I'll just pack up some sandwiches, throw them all in the cooler, or maybe take advantage of one of those like subscription services, something I could throw in a microwave real quick and heat up or eat cold even. So more to come on that. Snacks are obviously a big consideration. Just road tripping, so being on the road full time I think is going to be important. Jerky, cereal bars, snack mix seems to be a staple of most of the guys that I've talked to doing this, and I'm sure it will be mine as well. That brings me to bedding. Man, I've watched so many videos about different bedding setups. Some guys are building platforms in their trucks, buying mattresses and cutting them down and putting them in their trucks and stuff. For me, I've got a air mattress that goes into the back of my truck that I bought just for personal travel. And so I plan on starting off using that. We'll see how that goes. I've slept on it a handful of times already. It's very comfortable, but I've not slept in the back of my truck in extreme weather circumstances like I might be facing, once I get started, hauling RVs for this outfit. So to go along with the air mattress, of course, blanket, pillows. My blanket, I think I'll have a lightweight fleece blanket, and then I'll have an electric blanket. I think that will really help, keep the chill off in those cold nights and maybe help me to avoid running the truck because of something else I'm going to tell you here in a minute that I'm going to keep in there as well. But before I get to that, couple of pillows, sleeping mask, I think is going to be very helpful. I don't have any kind of like blackout curtains or anything that go in the truck just yet. I see a lot of guys opt for those, and it makes sense. I mean, if you're, sleeping at a truck stop or something, those overhead lights, could be pretty distracting, make it hard maybe to get to sleep. But those blackout curtains, I think, would be a nice addition. But for now, I'm just going to go with the sleeping mask. I've already got one, so we'll see how that shakes out for me. Now, outside of my initial sleeping arrangements, which also I should mention includes a sleeping bag rated down to 30 degrees. So that electric blanket inside the sleeping bag, I think, will cover me for most of my needs. I also have a 300-watt power station that I can use for the electric blanket, or I can plug it into the outlet, 110 outlet in my truck. So that'll come in handy. Otherwise, I can use that power station to keep my tablet charged, phones, any other electronic stuff like that I might have with me that I want to keep powered up. A travel bag with shower supplies. So a washcloth, a towel, some flip-flops to wear in the shower, places like Love's, Pilot J, or I'm told that the driver's lounges where you pick up have access to showers as well. So you're going to want to make sure that you pack that stuff, stay clean, fresh, feeling good on the road as much as you can. I like drinking Monster energy drinks, not because of the caffeine or anything, although I'm sure that probably has something to do with it. I just enjoy those. I drink, one, maybe two of those a day, even though I probably shouldn't. But it's something that I plan to keep in the truck with me. I mean, it does have caffeine in it, so it could help combat fatigue. But if you get pulled over, I'm told that a safety officer might look at that and possibly misconstrue that as you're driving while fatigued. So be careful about that. If you like drinking monsters, like I like the Zero Ultra flavor, the white ones. I like them. I like the taste, and I like the little caffeine kick that they have them in as well. Sometimes I'll drink that in lieu of coffee in the morning. So just be careful though if you're driving commercially and you've got that kind of stuff in the truck, just because it could be misconstrued. And if you are driving, I think, and you're tired and you're drinking a monster because of that, it's probably time to pull over. At least that's how I'm looking at it. Now, because I've been on personal road trips before, and all of a sudden, man, that fatigue just hits you like a ton of bricks, and there may or may not be places to pull over, which is something I'm worried about after, like I said, driving my own truck, down south or out west or wherever. I see that those rest stops really pack up at night with semis. I assume probably because of the DOT regulations as well. You might have to go for a little while before you can get to that next place where you can safely pull over. Something that I keep in my truck all the time is smelling salts. Now, I wouldn't endorse doing this in anything other than an emergency situation, but if you don't have a safe place to pull over and you're starting to get drowsy, I tell you what, man, nothing's going to wake you up for the time that you need to get to where you're going, like cracking a smelling salts and taking a whiff of that, at least to get you to where you can be safe, pulled over, for the night until you can rest and recuperate. Now, right now it's wintertime here, so I'll probably just keep my food and drinks in the bed of the truck. That'll keep them plenty warm. But once it warms up, I'm thinking about getting a 12-volt electric cooler. So again, my folks that are already doing this, or maybe you're not doing it, but you have a 12-volt electric cooler, please put in the comments which ones you like. What should I look for? What should I stay away from? I'm really curious about getting one of those so I can expand my meal options, to more than just prepackaged stuff if I want to in the future. Well, that's it for this video, folks. Next video, I'm going to share more about the possibility of going full-time in RV transport, including whether my truck is going to be up for the task or not, and a whole lot more. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, please like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one.